Welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you. And on the line with us, pleased to have back with us Josh Fox, activist, filmmaker, Gasland I, Gasland II. His latest is How to Let Go of the World and Love All Things the Climate Can't Change. HowToLetGoMovie.com is the website for that. You can tweet him at Josh Fox Film. And Josh, welcome back to the program.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. It's good to be here, Tom.
So, what's the latest on the oil barons and the Dakota Access Pipeline, Keystone XL Pipeline, all these issues that you have been making movies about and talking about and been such a brilliant activist around for so long?
Thank you.
Where are we at, and what should we be doing?
Okay, well, yesterday Donald Trump issued what's called a presidential memorandum, which is basically like a recommendation. It doesn't have the weight of law, but it does recommend to the Army Corps of Engineers that they stop the environmental impact study that Obama recommended for the Dakota Access Pipeline and resume drilling and finish the pipeline right away. So, of course, what's been happening is the pipeline company, Energy Transfer Partners, wants to take this dirty fracked oil from western North Dakota and bring it all the way to Illinois, where it can then go all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico, where it can be refined and probably exported. And the Standing Rock Sioux Nation tribe is opposing this because it would go underneath their primary source of drinking water, the Missouri River, which also is the drinking water source for 18 million Americans. So they have stopped the pipeline at the banks of the river, basically. There's it's amazing. Like, you can see the pipeline coming from either side, and at the river, the pipeline company never got the easement. Now, normally this is something that's just rubber stamped, and here you go. Okay, drill wherever you want, because the oil and gas industry is usually used to getting what they want with trampling people. But this Standing Rock movement said, no, we're sorry, you can't do that. So it's a $3.8 billion project that's been stopped in its tracks by an incredible outpouring of international and national support and activism. And what this new thing that's been born, these new people called water protectors, who are doing a miraculous thing in all across the nation, blockading the pipeline, but also divesting from banks and creating demonstrations. Last night in New York City, we had a spontaneous demonstration against the Trump recommendation, and 2,000 people showed up, even though it was organized over like a course of 4 hours. It's an incredible, amazing thing that's happening with this issue.
Yeah. So is there a nexus point? I mean, outside of hopping on a plane and going to Standing Rock, which is what a lot of people were actually doing 6 months ago, is there first of all, is it over? I mean, has Trump won?
No, the fight is definitely not over, and it is not over on either side. There was a sort of premature victory declaration after Obama created this environmental impact study requirement, which could take, if it really gets to play itself out, anywhere from 6 to 18 months. So that's quite a delay, and in all these environmental fights, you only ever win a temporary victory. That's just the way this stuff goes, because in society and the oil industry wants to encroach on every natural, beautiful, amazing place on the planet.
Isn't that environmental impact statement done by the EPA? If Scott Pruitt takes over the EPA, he'll just pull the plug on it, won't he?
I don't know that it's done by the EPA. First of all, it's scoped by the citizens. So right now, the first thing that people can do is they can impact the process by weighing in about what they want. There's an open process for comments right now. So comments are very important because it helps the agency figure out what, in fact, the citizens.
So how do people get to a site?
So they can go to the Sierra Club, and there's a link there.
Okay.
There are many places. If you just find comments on Army Corps of Engineers environmental impact study you'll find it online. But you can fill out your own comment. That's one thing we want people to do. Another thing that we want people to do is to divest from the banks that are invested in the Dakota Access Pipeline. And many of the major banks are Wells Fargo, TD, Chase, Citibank, to name a few. And to do some research, put your money in a credit union, put your money in a bank that isn't invested in the nefarious destruction of the future. In New York, there's Carver Bank, which is a black-run bank in New York City. There's Amalgamated. There are many options there to divest your personal funds and to live stream while you do it, so that it's like the Ice Bucket Challenge. You tell tell your friends why you're doing this. You tell the banker why you're doing this, and you start to mount pressure in that way. And of course, go to the demonstrations. Yesterday there were demonstrations organized in a day in New York, L.A., Seattle, Washington D.C., I believe Philly, Omaha, and there were sister events happening all over. Take pictures of those. Show the strength. Show the support. Have your own gatherings, even in small towns. And of course, if you can, if you are contemplating going to join the Water Protectors in North Dakota, they are saying, yes, we need able-bodied people who are going to be self-sustaining, who are not going to be a drag on the place, who are not going to be violent, and who are not even going to be aggressive or confrontational. There's a strong emphasis on prayer and on peace. It is 100% peaceful. So they do not want agitators. They do not want, black flag, whatever you call it.
The black bloc guys.
They want, and I don't either, but I think that's crazy. We have to have a peaceful revolution. That's what this is about at Standing Rock. So they are saying, if that's possible, it is really cold out there. They're still camped out. So, it's an important situation to take part in right now. This is the fight against tyranny. This is the fight for our democracy. It's a fight for our clean water.
Wow. We're talking with Josh Fox, activist and filmmaker of Gasland I and II, his latest, How to Let Go of the World and Love All Things the Climate Can't Change. I'm curious, I confess, Josh, and I apologize, I have not seen your most recent movie, How to Let Go. But the title seems to suggest that you made this during a little more optimistic time during the Obama administration. Are you rethinking, recalibrating, or am I misinterpreting?
No. Well, How to Let Go of the World is it's a movie about climate change. It goes all over the world. It's on 6 continents. It's an incredible emotional journey. It's an emotional roller coaster. But it starts with acknowledging just what bad shape we are in on climate change, and that the world is going to change, and that the geography is going to change, and that we're in for a lot of hardship. And that is the letting go portion of it. It is the letting go of the way the world is, the stability of the world, and then to find, well, what's left over? If we're talking about, getting to 2 degrees, which we most certainly are going to get to 2 degrees, we're talking about 780 million climate refugees. You're talking about the swamping of all the major eastern coastal cities in the United States and coastal cities around the world. You're talking about 30 to 50% of all species on the planet going extinct. This is an enormous, enormous amount of grief, and that's what the thing I'm saying, let go of the world. But what are the things that climate can't change? Those are our civic virtues. That's community, that's democracy, that's innovation, that's love, that's courage. That's all of those things, peace, that we have to work with in this movement. And that's what I see actually on display at Standing Rock. I have to say that Standing Rock and the camps there, you are operating on a different value system. That's about resilience. It's about generosity. The entire time you spend at that camp, you will never touch a dollar bill. You will not touch your credit card. You are operating in a totally different system. And those are the things that climate change can't destroy if we really go inside and say, what makes life worth living? Well, it's being good to people. It's having people be good to you. It's the people you love. It's the things that you love. And those are never things. Those are not your Lamborghini or your VCR or whatever it is. Like, those are the things that make life worth living: dance, song, art, poetry, and
family,
and being virtuous,
friends, yeah, community,
So that's the film, and it is. I really encourage people to watch it because it doesn't pull its punches in terms of climate change. I mean, it's very harsh.
I'm going to have to check this out. The website is howtoletgomovie.com.
Yeah.
Josh Fox is the filmmaker. You can tweet him at Josh Fox Film. And Josh, thanks for the great work that you've been doing. I really want to honor that.
And back at you, Tom. Thank you so much for having me.
Great talking with you. Thank you so much for being with us today. Josh Fox, check it out, howtoletgomovie.com. And I got to check this thing out myself.